Hey folks, Deano here again. This time take a look at another Dragon Stars figure review. This time it's a 2-pack. It's the Bardock versus Frieza First Form Battle Pack. And yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't have much interest in this, but Amazon UK showed me a deal I just couldn't ignore. Yeah, I got this for £24, which is a bit of a steal, considering the fact I was planning on getting Frieza on his own, which is 20. So yeah, I'm basically getting Bardock free. But yeah, I'll be honest, after getting these in hand, they're not the greatest scale-wise. Both of them are off, like Frieza more than Bardock, which is unfortunate. But yeah, this basically all stemmed from the fact that I was in the market for a first run Frieza, and one, I missed out on the original figure arts version, and two, I thought the figure arts version looked a little funny. I'm not sure what it was that really put me off it. I mean, it looked decent, don't get me wrong. I just didn't think it was worth it. Like, I was never going to use the hover chair, and that obviously bumped up the price of that figure. It's the same deal as with King Cold. Like, I'm not going to pay that much for a figure when it's quite obviously got what I call bloat in the package, just to inflate the price. Like, there was absolutely no need for King Cold to come with a throne, let's be honest. Like, most people buy figure arts to pose them. You don't put them in a chair. Like, that's just how I see it. So yeah, when I seen this set going for as cheap as it was, I had to get it to try it out. But yeah, without further ado, let's get them off the turntable and take a look at the box. So yeah, in terms of the box, just standard Dragon Stars packaging. Only they've expanded it, widened it a bit. But yeah, Dragon Stars Series Battle Pack, Bardock and Frieza First Form. Dragon Ball Super up the top, even though this is clearly Dragon Ball Z, but hey-oh, that is just what they're going for. Battle Pack again, Frieza has fallen. That's the first of probably many times he will do that in the review. But yeah, pretty standard stuff. As usual, the artwork is really nice. It's really on point for Dragon Ball. And yeah, obviously Amazon warehouse. I really can't argue with the price. Like, the standard price I think for these is 40 quid, which is the price of two figures. And you're getting a couple of bonuses thrown in, which is fair enough. But yeah, I wasn't going to buy it at that price, I'll be honest. I will put a link in the description if you do want to purchase it, for whatever reason, because in their own right, they are decent figures. They're just not as good, in my opinion, to like throw into display. The sort of Dragon Stars, Omega Shenron, Baby, Perfect Cell, things like that, they slot in to a figure arts collection pretty seamlessly. But yeah, these just not quite so much, shall we say. But yeah, back of the box, standard stuff. Really basic for the packaging. So yeah, let's get the box out of here and take a look at what they come with. Okay, so I have separated it between the two figures, because technically it comes with accessories for both of them. Well, no technically about it, it does. For Bardock, we have, I believe this is just Dragon Star's standard sort of Kamehameha effect piece, but I suppose it doubles as, what is his attack called? Rebellion Trigger or something like that. So yeah, fair enough. It's quite nice, I'd say, as I accidentally knock it and send things flying. But yeah, it's a decent enough effect piece. and it's different to what I've already got in my collection, so it's a nice little unique piece. It also comes with a pair of fists and a pair of those horrible sort of grippy style hands that Dragon Stars tend to come with absolutely no detail on them. Like, there's no fingernails or anything. They don't even sit right on the fists. It's the whole thing. In terms of Frieza, he comes with a really nice effect piece. His sort of Death Ball, the first form version, which, yeah, it's really nice. There's a lot of little effect energy sort of parts moulded in, and there is a peg hole. Unfortunately, I have already checked before starting the review. This does not fit on a Tamashii stage. I have no idea why they made it such an awkward size. I might just extend it to be able to put it on there, because what they're expecting you to do is use this pointing figure hand and pop that in, which, I mean, it kind of works, but like, you're limited with your options with it. And to be quite honest, when Figuarts Cooler arrives, I plan to have the Dragon Stars Cooler using this effect piece instead. So yeah, really nice. I do like it. Frieza also comes with 2 pairs of hands. Well, I say pairs, but he comes with a pair of fists and then 2 hands for his right arm. So the one that I just showed you, the sort of standard pointing hand, and then we have this one, which is him preparing it or ready to do a death beam sort of thing. Which, I mean, it's cool. He can also sort of hold his finger up to his nose, that sort of maniacal way that he does. So yeah, fair enough. I just wish they would have swapped these around so you could technically use both at the same time. It really wouldn't have hurt them to do that, but that is how it is. But yeah, that is all accessories that come in the package. So a fair bit more than you usually get for Dragon Stars, but still lacking a little bit, as opposed to, say, Figuarts, for example. But yeah, these are budget figures, so you can't really complain much, can you? Let's get the figures back in here and take a look at them. So yeah, getting Bardock out of the way first of all, seeing as how he is technically not the main reason I bought this. Yeah, he's decent. First of all, the height is wonky, and I think it's purely because of what they've done with the wrists and the legs. I'm not sure why, but they seem to have extended these sort of wraps that Bardock wears. I mean, if we quickly bring in the Figuarts for comparison, I won't be properly comparing the two, don't worry, like, they are different lines. There is absolutely no point, like, the Figuarts would destroy him. But yeah, you can see the wraps on his legs and arms are much shorter. I am not entirely sure why Dragon Stars did that, because it just makes him look a little bit lanky. To be completely honest with you, it would have probably looked a lot better and been a lot more in scale, because again, if we bring in the Figuarts just one last time, yeah, the Bardock has sort of almost a head in height taller than the Figuarts, which is quite strange. Usually the Dragon Stars are kind of pretty much in scale with the Figuarts. So yeah, quite bizarre. Aside from that, it's decent enough. The armour is actually quite good. Despite the fact that the box shows a much darker green, which is what Bardock is usually shown wearing, Dragon Stars have also opted for a sort of lime green colour, which is the same as what Figuarts have done. So yeah, kind of strange. Also, the skirt piece, for whatever reason, has been done in the hardest plastic and the most brittle feeling plastic, I should say, pretty much known to man. I'm not sure why they've done that, especially considering the fact that it's technically a floating piece. Yeah, that should really have been a soft rubbery plastic. Speaking of, they used soft rubbery plastic for the head. Like, this is the same as the Dragon Star's baby. I haven't, well, I will have reviewed it, sorry, by the time this review goes up. But the time of recording it hasn't yet gone up. But yeah, this is the new style way that they're doing the Dragon Star's heads, which I do quite like. I like that they're using this rubbery sort of plastic, because it means they can get those sharp spikes on the head. Because yeah, older Dragon Stars, the human figures and such, yeah, they tended to look like they had banana hair instead of Saiyan hair. But yeah, it's actually quite good, and there's a decent amount of detail there for what it is. Looks as if he's forgot to spit out his toothpaste with that mouth. There's no detail there. But I think a quick panel line might solve that. Not sure. Don't know if I want to bother. But yeah, it's quite nice, and I like the hair, definitely. Unfortunately, you really can't swap out the heads with the Figure Arts one, so if you are using this as a stand-in for whatever reason, bear that in mind. You will either need to modify this peg or widen the peg hole on the Figure Arts. So yeah, obviously with the DKO sculpts out, just thought I'd let people know that. But yeah, in terms of details, it's decent, just a bit lanky looking. So we will go over articulation in a moment, but let's first take a look at Frieza. So yeah, here he is with that maniacal sort of laugh. I thought I'd put on. The hands, by the way, are an absolute nightmare to put on Frieza. Bardocks are fine. You can swap those out whichever way you fancy. But Frieza's are so difficult to put on. Like, no idea why. But yeah, Frieza has about the same amount of paint apps as Bardock does. Frieza's face I really like. Would have preferred just a smirk, but the maniacal laugh that they've given him here, yeah, I think that's really good. Taken straight out of when he destroys Planet Vegeta. Spoilers for a 20-year-old plot point. But yeah, really nice. Do like it. The browns are nice, if a bit basic. I'll maybe do a bit of panel lining on those. Not sure. Same with the sort of ribbed effect on his skin. Details kind of get lost with it. But yeah, it's decent enough. I will say though, if I bring in the Figure Arts Final Form Frieza, right here, this guy is wildly out of scale. Like, I've no idea why. Most of the time, like, as I said before, Dragon Stars really, they scale really well usually. I'm not sure why they got Frieza so wrong. I mean, it was the same issue with Krillin, I believe. But yeah, if you're going to use this as a stand-in, he's going to have to be in the background, nowhere near the rest of your Friezas, unfortunately. But yeah. Let's take a look at their articulation now, shall we? So, in terms of articulation, with Bardock, it is pretty much your standard Dragon Stars articulation. Not great, but not terrible. His head can't really look up much at all. He can't look down much either, to be honest. You get swivel, and you get a bit of tilt. The neck barely moves. I'm unsure if that's because this is a new style of neck, that we're kind of losing articulation here. But yeah, you're not getting a whole lot. In terms of the arms, he can go out that much. He can swivel. There is absolutely no butterfly joint to speak of. That is as far forward as you're getting. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows, which surprisingly enough are pinless. Didn't realise Dragon Star's done those. Usually the arms, like on Frieza for example, have pins in them. So yeah, quite strange. Ball hinge at the wrist. Always copying figure arts in that regard. The waist can swivel as long as you force this piece out of the way. So just be careful it doesn't break or rip. The legs are pretty terrible, I've got to say. They have a pull down. Even with the pull down, that's as much forward as you're getting. That's it. Between the terrible way they've cut the groin section and these side skirts, you are not getting him to kick up much at all. So yeah, bit unfortunate. Bit of a thigh rotation right there. Again, doesn't get a whole lot of movement, so pretty much non-existent. Double joint at the elbow. Double joint at the knee. Gets about that much. And the feet are on a bigger style wrist peg, so you can pop it off completely if you so choose. Pop it back on, so you can go forward that much, back a little. You can swivel the peg round, if I can get it in the right place. Come on now. There we go. You can get a bit of a ankle pivot, but not a whole lot. But it does swivel, so that is always nice to see. But yeah, articulation on Bardock on the whole, not great. Not great at all. Like, this guy is just going to stand there and look pretty. He's not really going to do much else. In terms of Frieza, there he goes, falling again. Oh, I meant to say, Frieza's nails are not painted either. I forgot that in the last segment. So yeah, Frieza, again, because of the absolute size of his head, he's not getting much range either. So that's as far back as he goes. You can go forward that much. Swivel, bit of pivot. Neck on this guy I don't think moves at all. Slightly, but not enough to be noticeable in any way. Arms, because for whatever reason, like I'm not sure why, the Dragon Stars Vegeta and Nappa that used this old style Saiyan armor, they had a sort of cut here. So did Broly, which I've not reviewed yet, but isn't coming. They had a cut on the shoulder pad so you can swivel out of the way and get more range. This doesn't have that. This is just a solid piece, so that is going to get in the way big time. That's as much up as you're getting, which is a bit annoying considering the fact he needs to put his hand in the air to do the death ball, but hey oh. You aren't getting much swivel out of that at all. The ball peg is quite decent, but again, that's as far forward as you're getting in terms of any sort of butterfly, which is a shame. The arm is popping itself out of the joint. That's lovely. So that's just a mushroom peg, not a very good one. Bicep swivel, double joint at the elbow, ball hinge at the wrist. Standard stuff so far. We have a ball peg at the waist, but it's so deeply embedded you're not getting much range out of that at all, let alone any ab crunch. So pretty much just as bad as Bardock. In fact, can you pop that out any? You can pop it off, but you can't pop it out. So, lesson learned. You can, in terms of the feet, better than Bardock at least. Can kick out that much. If you pull down the hips, you're not getting any better, so hips are completely pointless here. Thigh rotation. Double joint at the knee. Remember to say it properly this time. And again, standard for the feet on Dragon Stars. You've got an oversized ball hinge, which can go back quite far on Frieza, which is good. Forward. And if you maneuver it any, can I even get it that way? There we go. You actually get a pretty decent ankle pivot as well. So yeah, feet on Frieza, much better. Articulation on the whole is a bit better on Frieza, despite the fact that he can't bring his arms over his shoulders. But hey-oh. I don't plan on having him in a very dynamic pose anyway. Oh, and his tail has articulation. Isn't much, but it gets the job done. Big ball hinge there, and a swivel at that section. Which, yeah, fair enough. It can't touch the floor, unfortunately. Not sure why they didn't do that and just make the cut a bit further down, but it is what it is. And yeah, overall, pretty decent figure despite his height differences. So yeah, there we go. He is a bit of a nightmare to stand though, just bear that in mind. The tail makes him back heavy compared with these horrible feet. For whatever reason, Dragon Stars didn't just flatten the feet. They thought he needed a bit of detail under there. So, no idea why. But there you go. So yeah. Overall, guys, if you can get it for around the price I paid, I think the link in the description has them about 36, which is a bit of a discount. But I'll also see if I can maybe find one or both of the figures separate as well. Either on AliExpress or Amazon. More than likely Amazon. AliExpress doesn't tend to stock Dragon Stars much, if any. But yeah, for the price I paid, it's a decent enough set. I just wouldn't really pay much more than that unless you're really wanting both figures. Or if you're wanting the effect pieces, which, quite frankly, this to me is the best part of the set. This is a really nice looking effect piece. But yeah, that's me just glazing it a little. So yeah, guys, let me know what you thought down in the comments. Do you think this kit's worth baiting? Let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.